Hi, everybody. This is Jeff McCall. I'm the Director of Center for Academic Technologies here at Cal State Monterey Bay. We're going to talk about Zoom Essentials here. This is really kind of the first video that will get you started with Zoom here at CSU Monterey Bay. There are a few things unique to our account that I want to really dig into here. Most other tutorials and trainings from Zoom are really great, but again, I wanted to cover some specifics here. So I'm going to hop into the agenda real quick. Notice I'm running PowerPoint. We'll talk about how to show PowerPoint, but I'm going to talk about logging in, how to set up a meeting, how to send invites, meeting management and room management. Essentially, this is the classroom equivalent of the meeting equivalent of classroom management, some basic tools, and then of course ending the meeting. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, logging in, I'm going to hop into my browser. My browser is Firefox, but any browser will work. I'm going to navigate to csumb.zoom.us, csumb.zoom.us. This will take us to our branded page for Cal State Monterey Bay for Zoom. And it gives us a few features. You're going to sign in with this using Okta, which is our single sign-on solution. And actually, I was already signed in, but normally you'd see an Okta pop up that says enter your Auto ID, and then you have your two-factor authentication and log in. So that will get you into the Zoom dashboard. Other ways to get in are through the CSUMB main page, csumb.edu. Go to your dashboard. And you'll notice you've got a zoom.us here, so you can drop in that way as well. And I can go ahead and close this now. What we're going to do is we're going to set up a personal meeting. And so I believe you will see this personal meeting option here in your schedule of meetings or in your meetings tab. So if I go to the tab here, by the way, you're going to see a few extra things here because I'm an admin, so you won't see these, but for the most part, you should just see these 5 areas here, your personal meeting, and I'm going to just click into the personal meeting here. And the easy thing about your recurring meeting, your personal meeting, is that it recurs. It's a recurring meeting, and I believe that's the case. So if it's not, you want to Google Zoom recurring meeting, and it'll tell you how to set that in this setting right here for the meeting. But really what we're doing is we're setting up this meeting that will be always open. There's no end date on it. You don't have to worry ever again about meeting with students at a specific time and setting this up, because you can reuse this meeting over and over again. Best practice, if you're going to do office hours, I would recommend having a separate meeting so students don't interrupt each other, things like that. So you can worry about that at a later date. But for classroom presentation, you're going to start with this personal meeting. So I've got some information here. There's no password. There's no, just accept the defaults here. So I'm going to copy the invitation, and we're going to invite some students. And so I'm going to copy, just click copy. There's a lot of extra stuff here that you really don't need, and I'll show you what to delete here in just a second. There's really just 2 links that you really want to be able to send your students. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to close this. And now I'm going to hop into my email and send the invite. Of course, there's a couple places you can send, a couple other areas you can send this out to your students. I really recommend using iLearn. You can even post a link to this meeting at the top of your iLearn page, and you can just keep reminding the students, look, we're meeting Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. And so the students have that expectation, oh, it's time to go to class, and they just literally go into iLearn, click on that meeting link, and they're dropped into the meeting. So I'm going to invite myself, my other account, and there's my other account, and I'm going to say meeting today at 2 p.m. Again, I want to be explicit here. I want to make sure that my students know when, and then of course where. And so I'll scroll down here. So we have all of this extra information. I typically just delete all of this extra information. This is our key thing right here. This is that link to the meeting. If students click that, they will be entered automatically into the meeting. Here's the meeting ID. So if they get in there another way, they can just type this number in, say if they're on a mobile device. Also, you have one tap for mobile. This is for phoning in. So let's be clear here. This is actually using the Zoom application. So that would either be on a computer or on a mobile device, or they can actually dial in just like a phone call into the meeting using one of these numbers. And then there's other numbers here that are added. Now, keep in mind that there are toll charges here, but there's also the Zoom is adding more phone numbers all the time because of the high demand for phone numbers for dialing in. Strongly recommended that users dial in, viewers log in with the app because they're going to be able to see everything on the screen. So I'm actually going to just delete everything else here. And make it nice and short. So we just have one tap mobile for phone callers, and we have the link to the meeting. Off it goes, and I'm going to come back to my meeting. So again, I'm back in my dashboard. I'm still signed in. I want to go ahead and start my meeting now, and I can start my meeting, of course, before I send the invite to run some tests and things like that. You can start it at any time because it's your meeting. So I'm starting the meeting, and what you'll see the first time is this will launch, will prompt you to download an application. It's a very small application. My best understanding is that it does not need admin privileges on the computer, so you don't have to request admin, anything like that. This account that I'm showing on is a standard user. It's not an admin user. So I'm going to open the link, and now it's going to launch Zoom. So you'll see down here at the bottom, the Zoom window, zoom.us, or the application is running, and I'm going to join with computer audio. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining my meeting. So I'm in. I have one participant. That's me. I can control my video here. I can stop my video. So now it puts my profile picture up. You can add a profile picture on that Zoom meeting page if you'd like. That's an add-on. And then, of course, I've got my microphone here, and I can mute my microphone. So this is my controls. These are for me to control what users, what the viewers will see from me. Got a few other tools here. We'll get into those in a minute. But for right now, I'm going to just click on Manage Participants. And you're going to see what's going to happen is that I'm going to get a window here on the right side, and it has participants that are in the meeting. Right now, obviously, it says my name, my full name. Has my campus because I do a lot of inter-campus meetings, and then it tells me that I'm the host, and that's me. So again, you see my microphone there, and you can see my video there, so I have a little control over that. I'm also going to open my chat window. So here is chat right here, and chat is down here on the side. I can actually just double click on my browser or on my window so it goes full screen. So I have a little more control, can see a little bit more, get a few more students on here as they join. We'll talk about joining the meeting in just a second. The main thing here is your chat, so you can actually just send text messages. Your students can ask questions on the side. Well, again, we'll talk about meeting management in just a second. Let's go ahead and have someone join the meeting. So I've got my phone here, and I've got an email. Let's see here. Yep, I have the meeting email on my phone, and I am going to just touch the CSUMB.zoom.us link. And again, this is the students have to load the application, the Zoom app, on their phone if they're going to use it, if they're going to view on the phone. It's telling me, how do I want to join? Do I want to join with video or join without? I'm going to say without. And before I had set this up, I had typed in my name. How do you want to join this meeting? I'm going to turn this volume all the way down here. When you go to join, it says, what's your name? Because I'm not joining using any kind of CSUMB sign-in, I can put anything in there. So again, this comes to meeting management. You're going to tell your students, I want your full name in there. You're going to want to take attendance. You're going to want to be able to just look and see who's there. It becomes a lot easier by seeing those names over on this side participants window. So I'm going to say, Milt, can you sign out and sign back in with your full name? And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to leave the meeting. Let's see here. I'm going to leave. And I'm going to join a meeting. And this time I'm going to be Milton back to the meeting and unjoin. And here I come. All right, so now I've muted my mic. I've given my full name, and I've got some control. Let's talk about meeting management. So as a meeting manager, I'm going to turn my volume down on my phone real quick. There we go. As a meeting manager, as the instructor, you've got some control. I can unmute people. I can unmute everybody and have them talk. I can mute everybody. It's great. If you have people come in, this can be pandemonium very quickly. They start chatting and you get a lot of, or they accidentally leave their mic on, you get a lot of noise. So you can go in here and you can control each individual user or everybody and mute everybody. That's important. So you want to do that first. You also want to encourage people to use their video because video is really what's going to keep people engaged. This is an important part of the social experience of one of these meetings. You're going to want to try to replicate that classroom experience, and you can see if they're engaged. It's really hard, and actually a coworker of mine described it as trying to do comedy in an empty room. You don't know if anybody's getting the joke. You don't know if people are engaged, because in a face-to-face meeting, people are engaged. You can see them nod and things like that. So you want some of those clues with people's video, and so you can have up to 50 people in a meeting at once. If you need more than that, contact Kat. We can work something out and see. I think we have a few larger size accounts where we can fit big classrooms in there as well. Okay, so now I've got Milton and Jeff in a meeting, and I can send a chat out and say, hello. Thanks for joining. Here is a link. So I can start sending information. I can put a link in there. I can actually add photos in there and documents in there. So I can have this meeting very much like handouts. I have some control just through the chat, no other tools. So really that's the two main tools in the meeting. You've got chat, you've got participants, you can control, you can mute people, you can talk to people. Last thing we're going to do is share our screen. So I'm going to go here. So you notice Milton is here because he's the last person that talked, that went full screen. My video goes small because I'm in the room. I don't need to see my face. I need to see who's speaking at the time or who was the last to speak. You can also go to gallery mode, and as people join, these windows get smaller and smaller, and you'll see kind of the Brady Bunch style of all of these little windows of students. You may not be able to get all of the students in one window, but you'll get a lot. So I'm going to go back to speaker view, and I'm going to share my screen. And I can share my PowerPoint, or I can just share the entire desktop. This time I'm going to share the entire desktop. Now keep in mind, they're not going to see this window, and they're not going to see this window, because it's kind of useless for them to see those things. So I'm going to close this window here. Whoops, no I'm not. All right. Hop over here to my PowerPoint. I can go to my PowerPoint. I can just show my PowerPoint slides, as many of us do, using the arrow keys in a window, but I can also present full screen. If you want a more polished presentation, I can say play from start over here, and now I can actually talk through. You can start here as well. This is really common. You can set your PowerPoint up, be ready. After you join the meeting, you start sharing your screen and take the PowerPoint full screen. Now as people join, they can just see your face up here in the upper right and your screen. And again, I can use the arrow keys and we can log through this or page through this. So basic tools. I believe that just about covers it. I'm going to stop my share. Now I'm back in the meeting interface. Last thing, really, you're just going to set expectations for the next meeting. You're going to say, we're going to meet again every Tuesday at 3, and the students will come in and be in the meeting. You can send out reminders, whatever you need to do, but the thing is keep it consistent. Have a lot of facial and video interactions is very useful, and that's about it. I hope you found that this useful. We can end the meeting here. Actually, I won't end my recording, but I'll end the meeting. You can just leave the meeting. If you leave the meeting, you will have people that are still in there. They can continue to talk, or you can end the meeting for all. So if people want to continue to chat, they can either go form their own meetings, or they can stay in this meeting, or you can just kick everyone out now. So we're going to kick everybody out, and I don't need to update. I'll worry about that later. And here's my dialogue. And the last thing, I'm going to just bail out of my PowerPoint, and I'm all set. Hope you found this useful. That's the basics, kind of the essentials for using Zoom. There are a lot of great tutorials. Really, the main thing that I wanted to get across in this was getting your link out, logging into the right account, and making sure that you're using your CSUMB account, because you get some extra features there, and some meeting management skills. All right, again, I hope you found this useful, and we'll talk to you soon.